You wouldn't think something as simple as an egg could carry such weight in the life of a senior. But I've seen it more times than I care to count. It always starts the same way. A well-meaning son, buying organic eggs for his mother every week. A devoted wife, waking early each morning to scramble 2 eggs for the man she's loved for 54 years. Or a widower, now living alone, boiling eggs in silence, trying to stick to what he believes is healthy. They all mean well. They all think they're doing the right thing. And yet, their bodies quietly tell a different story. You see, an egg is not just an egg in old age. It's a biochemical event. A trigger. A gift or a gamble. For over 60 years, I've walked hospital halls, listened to heartbeats, read blood panels, and more importantly, listened to the unspoken fears of those aging in a world that seems to forget them. And if I've learned anything, it's this: the same food that gave you strength in your youth can slowly sap it in old age, if not eaten with understanding. Eggs are no exception. Yes, they are a miracle of nature, dense with protein, omega-3s, choline, lutein. But like a medicine, their power lies in how you use them. And when misused, they can become a hidden poison, especially for older adults. Take Mr. Alfred Green, 79 years old, a retired mailman from Ohio. He'd eaten 2 soft-boiled eggs every morning since the 80s. "My secret weapon," he said with pride. But last year, Alfred found himself in a hospital bed, delirious with fever, low blood pressure, and shaking with chills. Diagnosis? Salmonella. But it wasn't just the bacteria that landed him there, it was time itself. His immune system, once strong enough to battle the microbes in undercooked eggs, could no longer keep pace. And that's the first truth I want to give you, not as a doctor in a white coat, but as a fellow traveler in this strange, beautiful, aging body. What once nourished you may now endanger you, not because the food has changed, but because you have. This is the mystery and the miracle of aging. The stomach that once digested anything now slows, the liver metabolizes differently, the gut bacteria that guarded you silently for decades may now be out of balance. And eggs, when misused, become fuel for decline, not strength. Let me walk with you, then, through the 5 most common egg mistakes I've seen steal strength, sleep, and even life itself from those who deserved better. And let us begin not with fear, but with understanding. It starts with what we throw away. Mistake number 1: eating only egg whites on an empty stomach. This one, I confess, breaks my heart. Because it's often done in good faith. I'm avoiding cholesterol, they say. I'm being healthy. But let me tell you what I've seen. Biotin deficiency. Fatigue. Depression. Even nerve damage. Why? Because egg whites contain a protein called avidin, and avidin binds to biotin, a critical B vitamin that keeps your nerves firing, your energy up, your skin healthy, and your brain clear. When you eat egg whites without the yolk, especially on an empty stomach when stomach acid is high, avidin runs wild. It blocks biotin like a locked door. Now imagine Mrs. Eleanor Bennett, 85 years old, Maine. Her hands had gone numb. Her gait unsteady. She feared she was developing Parkinson's. But it wasn't a new disease. It was a decade of eating only egg whites in the morning, trying to be heart healthy. After just 2 months of restoring her yolks, carefully cooked, with a balanced meal, her numbness began to fade. You see, the yolk is not the enemy. It's the protector. It contains biotin itself, counteracting avidin's binding. It holds lutein and zeaxanthin, guardians of your aging eyes. It contains choline, vital for memory and brain function. Throwing it away is like throwing away your armor and marching into battle bare-chested. And worse still, many of my patients ate these whites alone, on an empty stomach. That is when the damage is greatest. The acid in an empty belly amplifies avidin's action. Nutrients are poorly absorbed. Fat-soluble vitamins, which need even a trace of dietary fat to be taken in, simply pass through you unused. My prescription? Whole eggs. Eaten with a meal, never alone. And if cholesterol is a concern, 1 egg a day is not the villain it was once thought to be. The villain is incomplete nutrition and misunderstanding. Mistake number 2: eating raw or undercooked eggs. Now this one I've seen take lives. I remember Mr. Mark Donnelly, 82. Rugged, charming, and still a bit of a showman. Every night, he drank 2 raw eggs mixed in a glass with vodka. Old school protein, he'd laugh. But the morning his daughter found him collapsed in the kitchen, burning with fever and confused, no one was laughing. He had salmonella sepsis. His immune system, weakened by age, could not contain the infection. Even weeks later, the aftermath remained: gut flora ravaged by antibiotics, chronic diarrhea, malnutrition, and a body once vibrant now fading. It's not just salmonella. Raw eggs preserve the full binding power of avidin. They also contain proteins that interfere with digestion and the absorption of other nutrients. And if you are over 65, your digestive tract is no longer what it was. Your microbial balance is delicate. Raw eggs throw it into chaos. The fix is simple, but non-negotiable: cook your eggs thoroughly. Heat destroys avidin. It kills bacteria. And it unfolds the proteins just enough for your enzymes to do their work. Boil them until the yolks are solid. Poach them gently. Or steam them with care. Let your food be your ally, not your risk. Mistake number 3: eating eggs while taking certain medications. This one often goes unnoticed until something goes terribly wrong. Eggs, though natural, are potent chemical packages. They contain vitamin K, which interferes with blood thinners like warfarin. They bind to minerals like iron and calcium, reducing the absorption of critical medications. And they delay the effectiveness of certain antibiotics and thyroid medications. I think of Mrs. Dorothy Jones, 76. She came to me exhausted, pale, still anemic despite being on iron pills for 6 months. The culprit? Her habit of eating eggs every morning with her pills. The proteins in egg whites bound to her iron supplements, creating compounds the intestines could not absorb. She was swallowing nutrition, but not receiving it. So I ask you, when do you take your medications? If you take blood thinners, wait at least 2 hours before or after consuming eggs. If you're taking thyroid pills, take them on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, then wait an hour before food. Treat your medications like precious cargo. And give them space to do their work. Mistake number 4: eating eggs too early in the morning. This one often surprises people. Morning eggs seem harmless, even traditional. But between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., your body produces its highest levels of cortisol, a hormone that, among other things, raises your cholesterol. Now pair that with eggs rich in dietary cholesterol, and what do you get? An unintended spike. One that matters more as we age and our bodies lose their metabolic flexibility. I lost a patient this way. Mr. Ronald Jacobs, 78. Devout in his routine. 2 fried eggs every morning at 6 a.m., rain or shine. But his cholesterol was sky high. He didn't understand he wasn't eating bad food. But timing is a nutrient. Morning is not the best time for eggs. Your digestive system is slow to wake, your bile production is low, and cortisol is high. I urge you eat eggs later in the day, between noon and 4 p.m. That's when your body is best prepared to process fats, absorb nutrients, and keep cholesterol in check. And that brings us to a mistake I see far too often, made with good intentions but carrying heavy consequences. Mistake number 5: cooking eggs at high temperatures, especially with oils. I remember Mrs. Jane Alvarez, 84 years old, soft-spoken, fiercely independent. She'd cooked her eggs the same way for 60 years, fried in vegetable oil, high heat, a pinch of salt, every morning. A ritual that once made her feel strong. But one day, she came to me pale, weak, complaining of constant stomach pain and burning in her chest. She'd stopped eating. Lost weight. Her spirit was dimming. It wasn't cancer. It wasn't infection. It was gastritis, chronic inflammation of her stomach lining, worsened by years of high-heat fried eggs. You see, proteins in eggs are delicate. When exposed to very high temperatures, especially in oil that's starting to smoke, they become denatured in a way that disrupts digestion. The stomach struggles to break them down. For a younger adult, that might mean a bit of indigestion. But for an older person with slower gastric motility, it can mean bloating, reflux, nausea, malabsorption. And that's not all. At those high temperatures, especially when oils are involved, something far more sinister occurs: the creation of toxic compounds. Aldehydes, acrylamide, oxidized fats. These substances don't just irritate your gut, they contribute to inflammation throughout the body. Silent, chronic, cumulative. They damage blood vessels. They stress the liver. And over time, they accelerate aging from the inside out. And worst of all, heat destroys choline, a nutrient found in egg yolks that protects memory and brain function. Choline is one of your most powerful allies in guarding against Alzheimer's and cognitive decline. But it's fragile. Excess heat wipes it away. That's why Mr. George Smith, 82, once robust and cheerful, began to experience digestive discomfort after meals. He thought it was just aging. But when we gently switched him from fried to boiled eggs, slowly cooked at low temperature, his symptoms eased. He began eating again. Smiling again. So I ask you, how are you cooking your eggs? Forget the crackling skillet and bubbling oil. Think gentle. Think low and slow. Boiling is best, placing cold eggs in cold water, bringing them slowly to a boil, and simmering for 10 minutes. This preserves the protein structure, protects the vitamins, and makes digestion easier. Poaching, cooking gently in hot water without oil, is also excellent. Steaming? Beautiful. Even scrambled eggs can be healthy if done gently, with a touch of olive oil or butter over low heat, and stirred lovingly like you're coaxing them into softness. And never, never, the microwave. I know it's convenient. But it heats unevenly, rapidly, and harshly. It breaks the protein chains too quickly. You'll see the result: rubbery whites, sulfur-smelling yolks, and a body confused by the nutrient chaos you've just delivered. Cook your eggs the way you'd care for something fragile, because in truth, that's what your body has become. Still strong, still worthy, but fragile in places where once it was firm. And when you prepare them, add healing herbs, parsley, turmeric, black pepper. Their anti-inflammatory compounds will support your digestion and your brain. Food, when honored, can be a kind of medicine. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's just an egg. But in old age, nothing is just anything. Everything matters. The hour you eat, the way you cook, what you eat with it, which pill you take before or after, all of it becomes part of the delicate symphony your aging body plays each day to stay upright, clear-minded, warm-hearted, and alive. Let me tell you something most people never hear from their doctors. Your body is not failing you. It's adapting. It's learning to live with fewer hormones, slower digestion, a thinner gut lining, weaker kidneys, a quieter immune system. That's not failure. That's wisdom written in tissue. But wisdom needs cooperation. It needs you to meet your body where it is, not where it used to be. And if you've made these egg mistakes before, don't feel guilt. Feel awakened. Because from this moment forward, you know. And knowing is the beginning of healing. So what do we do now? We turn the egg from a quiet enemy back into a loyal friend. You keep the yolk. You cook it thoroughly. You eat it with vegetables, in the afternoon, away from medications. You boil, you poach, you steam. You season with care. And you honor what your body is becoming. Let me paint a picture for you. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun is soft. You sit at the table with a warm plate, 2 boiled eggs, gently cracked open, their yolks golden and rich, resting on a bed of sautéed spinach and a slice of whole grain toast. Beside it, a glass of water with lemon. A small dish of blueberries. Your medications were taken 3 hours ago. Your body is ready. No rush. No panic. Just nourishment. That is aging with grace. That is not weakness. That is mastery. I want to leave you with a story. One that still brings a lump to my throat. Mr. and Mrs. Goldberg, married 62 years, were both patients of mine. He had Parkinson's. She had early-stage memory loss. But every Wednesday, they'd come into my clinic holding hands, asking questions, smiling with courage that humbled me. One day, she told me she'd watched one of my talks, this very one, and changed how she made breakfast. She boiled eggs. She added herbs. She made sure they waited an hour after medication. She sat with him in the sunlight, fed him gently, and kissed his cheek after each bite. 6 months later, he was standing better. Less tremor. More strength. And her memory? It hadn't improved much, but the joy in her eyes had. Because she was doing something. She was fighting back. Not with pills, but with love, timing, and wisdom. Sometimes healing is not a miracle. It's 1,000 tiny decisions, made with care. And that is what I hope you take from this. So here we are, dear listener. Perhaps you began this video expecting something simple. A quick tip. A checklist. Maybe a yes or no to "are eggs good for me?" But the truth, as always in medicine, is more tender. More complicated. More human. It's not about the egg. It's about you. Your age. Your organs. Your morning rituals. Your medication schedule. Your gut bacteria. Your history. You are not a statistic. You are a story still being written with every bite you take, every choice you make, every quiet moment you choose to nourish your body rather than punish it. And if no one else has told you this today, allow me. You deserve to feel strong again. Not just free from pain, but full of life. You deserve the dignity of meals that heal. You deserve mornings without heartburn, days without fatigue, and evenings where your mind is clear and your soul feels peaceful. And it begins, not with a surgery, or a new drug, or some miracle cure on the internet, but with an egg, prepared gently, eaten wisely, received with grace. I think about the men and women I've cared for over 6 decades. The proud veterans. The grandmothers with soft eyes. The dancers with bad knees. The thinkers who now forget names. The builders who once had hands like stone and now tremble to lift a spoon. They're still in there. Behind the wrinkles. Beneath the diagnoses. Inside the thinning frame. And I've learned this. What restores them is never perfection. It's never doing everything right. It's reconnection. With their body. With their food. With the rhythms of nature. With hope. Hope is what heals the oldest wounds. So if you remember nothing else from today's story, let it be this. An egg is a powerful food. But for seniors, its power lies not in its protein or cholesterol, but in its timing, preparation, and context. Eat it whole. Eat it cooked. Eat it away from medication. Eat it not in the early cortisol hours, but in the restful afternoon. And above all, eat it with reverence. Don't let your health be undone by habits you once thought were harmless. You've come too far, fought too many battles, cried too many tears, and loved too deeply to let that happen. You are not fragile, you are precious. And precious things deserve special care. Let me offer you one last reflection, from a patient who changed my life. Her name was Ruth. She was 91. She'd lived through war, poverty, and widowhood. She had survived cancer. Raised 5 children. Buried 2. And still, she had the most radiant light in her eyes. One day, as I examined her, she said, "Dr. Henry Wells, when I was young, I ate to be full. In middle age, I ate to be thin. Now, I eat to stay here, to stay with my grandchildren a little longer. So I cook with love, I chew with patience, and I say thank you after every bite. That's my medicine now. I will never forget her." And maybe you, too, can carry her wisdom forward. Maybe tomorrow, instead of grabbing breakfast on autopilot, you'll take a moment. Boil 2 eggs slowly. Add a touch of turmeric. Sit by a window. Feel the light on your skin. And eat not just to survive, but to stay here, to stay strong, to keep writing your story. You may be 60, 70, 80, or 92 like me. You may feel tired. Discouraged. Even betrayed by your body. But it is never too late to turn toward healing. Never too late to love your body the way it has loved you, quietly, faithfully, for decades. Start with one egg. Cook it differently. Eat it consciously. And feel what happens in the days and weeks ahead. Let this be the moment everything changes. Let this be the day you stop letting food make you weaker and instead turn it into your greatest ally. If this story stirred something in you, don't let it pass. Act. Take one small step today. Boil instead of fry. Eat with vegetables. Time your meal after your meds. Skip the early morning eggs. Listen to what your body tells you. You'll be amazed what answers it gives. And if you found value here, consider sharing this video. You never know whose life you might extend, whose dignity you might restore. An egg may seem like nothing, but in the hands of a wise elder, it becomes medicine. Thank you for allowing me into your heart and your home today. I hope I've honored your time, your body, and your journey. Stay strong. Stay gentle. And may your next egg bring not harm but healing. Because you deserve nothing less. If this message touched something in you, if it made you pause, reflect, or feel seen, then let's not keep it quiet. Tap like so more people can hear what you just heard. Hit subscribe so you never miss the care your body deserves. And share this video with someone you love, someone whose story is still unfolding. Because healing doesn't start in the hospital. It starts at home. With a boiled egg. A kind word. A small change. And a choice to live with dignity, wisdom, and strength. I'll be here every week to walk with you.